Are you in a safe spot right now?
I think so.
Okay, we're getting a lot of help started, okay? We've had 2 other callers saying this as well. So what, are you hearing gunshots now?
No.
No. Are you guys locking the school down?
I don't know. It sounds like
Okay. All right, we've got help on the way. But are you hearing shots now?
no.
Okay.
But we're in the art room closet.
Okay.
Yes, I hear another shot.
You did?
I'm hearing more shots.
Okay.
We're upstairs by the art room hallway.
You're upstairs by what hallway?
In the art room.
Art room.
Yes, please hurry. I'm hearing you.
They're coming. And
they sound kind of close.
Just try to stay quiet. I don't know what's going on there.
Okay.
But, yeah, just try to stay quiet. We've got a lot of help coming to you, okay? Do you feel safe to go ahead and disconnect? Yes, ma'am. They're coming lights and stars. Do you feel okay for me to disconnect?
Huh?
Okay. All right. Just call us back if anything changes, okay? But I've got them coming to you. Okay. You're welcome. Bye-bye.
The 911 call you just heard came from a faculty member on the morning of a chilling tragedy, March 27, 2023, at approximately 10:10 a.m. That day, the Covenant School became the site of a devastating act carried out by Audrey Hale. In a span of minutes, 6 lives were taken in a brutal school shooting that would leave a permanent scar on the community. Before we continue, let us pause and reflect on the lives lost. Catherine Kuntz, Mike Hill, Cynthia Peak, Hallie Scruggs, William Kinney, Evelyn Dieckhaus. Each one of them was more than a name, a light, a story, a presence forever missed. On March 27, 2023, a quiet morning at the Covenant School in Nashville, Tennessee, was shattered when 28-year-old Audrey Hale, a former student, carried out a mass shooting that left 6 people dead, 3 9-year-old children and 3 adults. This tragedy, the deadliest school shooting in Tennessee history, has left a nation grappling with questions about gun violence, mental health, and the elusive motives behind such horrific acts. The following is a narrated account of the heinous crime committed by Audrey Hale, who left home that morning with one intention: to kill. It was around 8 a.m. on March 27, 2023. Hale stepped out of her residence at 3005 Brightwood Drive in Nashville, Tennessee. She wasn't just leaving home, she was leaving humanity behind. Slung over her shoulder was a large duffel bag packed with deadly purpose, firearms, ammunition, tactical gear, and chillingly, her stuffed animals, relics of innocence lost. Alongside it, a backpack filled with notebooks and personal items. She loaded everything into her 2014 Honda Fit, got in, and drove away without a word. By 8:16 a.m., she arrived at Royal Range, USA, a gun range tucked along US Highway 70. She didn't walk inside. Instead, she pulled her car into a remote corner of the lot, out of sight, out of mind. Inside that vehicle, she transformed. She strapped on a tactical vest, clipped loaded magazine pouches to her belt, slid an automatic knife into place, and prepped 3 different firearms with calm, robotic precision. Then she waited, sitting there in the shadows for over an hour, methodically checking gear, mentally rehearsing what would be her final act. At 9:33 a.m., she pulled out of the parking lot and headed directly for her chosen target, the Covenant Presbyterian Church and School. She arrived at 9:53 a.m. and slowly cruised the school's lot as if circling prey. Eventually, she parked on the west side of the building, letting the engine idle, the calm before the storm. In those final minutes, she sat in silence. Then, she picked up her phone and sent a goodbye message, an eerie digital farewell through Instagram Messenger to a friend, a final breadcrumb in the trail she was about to burn. At 10:09 a.m., she opened her door, stepped out of the car, and slung 2 firearms across her neck and shoulders. She was no longer hiding. She was approaching the school's west entrance, armed, armored, and unflinching. The next few minutes would leave an entire city changed forever. By the end of this video, you will have a clear understanding of what happened that day and the chilling motives behind it. The story isn't over, not by a long shot, but for now, if you've made it this far, take a moment to subscribe. This channel dives deep beneath headlines into the shadows where truth hides. At approximately 10:10 a.m., Hale arrives at the Covenant School and parks her vehicle. She's dressed for confrontation, a tactical vest strapped on. Her first move is deliberate. She approaches a set of glass windows, raises her M&P 15 rifle, or perhaps the Grunt 15 pistol, and unleashes a barrage of gunfire. The glass shatters. The sound, sharp, deafening, rips through the morning calm, a grim signal of the chaos that's about to erupt. As Audrey Hale forced her way through the shattered glass doors of the Covenant School, custodian Michael Hill was doing something routine, cleaning a room next to the youth center. But fate doesn't knock. It crashes in. He heard the glass explode, and like any dutiful worker, he went to check. He stepped into the youth center just as Hale emerged from the broken entryway. For a split second, they locked eyes. No words, just instinct. Hill turned to run. Hale raised her weapon. A burst of gunfire cracked through the hall. Bullets sliced the air, pierced the window between them. Hill was struck in the back, multiple times. He collapsed on the floor of the youth center, still lifeless. As Hale stood just inside the building, under a ceiling-mounted smoke detector, her AR pistol was still hot from the burst of fire. Gunsmoke curled upward from the muzzle, dancing toward the white sensor above her. In seconds, the smoke alarm blared, an ear-piercing shriek cutting through the school corridors. With that single act, chaos officially began. The fire alarm tripped the building's security protocols. Magnetic locks on the doors separating the church from the school disengaged, in full compliance with state fire code. Hale had not only broken into the school, she just unlocked even more of it. After firing the first shots, Hale didn't stop. She moved, calm, deliberate, down the hallway toward the stairwell that led to the second floor. But at the same time, the fire alarm wailed through the building, a sound that meant only one thing to students and teachers: evacuate. Protocols kicked in, automatic, practiced. In every classroom, children stood up, formed single-file lines, the teacher at the back, a designated line leader in the front. They moved as trained toward the exits, unaware of the threat they were walking toward. Those on the second floor followed procedure, reaching for the stairwells, descending one by one, heading straight to the ground level. A routine drill in the middle of a nightmare. Students and staff begin to move, some heading for exits, others toward designated safety zones, unaware that those instincts are now leading them into danger. This confusion proved fatal for some. On the second floor in a third-grade classroom, Evelyn Dieckhaus, William Kinney, and Hallie Scruggs moved quickly with their classmates. They knew the drill. Kinney took the front of the line, the designated line leader. Just behind him, Scruggs, then Dieckhaus. Downstairs, Cynthia Peake stood in the school office. She was there as a substitute teacher, still reviewing her classroom assignment and lesson plan. The shriek of the alarm broke the morning calm. Without hesitation, Peake left the office and headed toward a stairwell to help with the evacuation. Others inside the office stayed behind, some attempting to trace the alarm's cause, unaware of what was approaching. Peake arrived at the stairwell just as students began filtering in. Kinney stepped forward first, then Scruggs, then Dieckhaus. At that exact moment, Hale was ascending the stairs. Without warning, Hale appeared, face to face with the children. What followed was immediate, ruthless. Several shots rang out from her AR pistol. Kinney, Scruggs, Dieckhaus, Peake, all struck, no time to react. The sounds of gunfire cracked down the hallway like a warning. Students and teachers behind them saw it, just for a second. Then they turned and ran. Doors slammed, locks clicked. The school's active killer protocol had begun. But for those in the stairwell, it was already too late. As Hale stepped out of the stairwell, fresh from the fatal shooting of Dieckhaus, Kinney, Scruggs, and Peake, the hall had changed. The second floor's adjacent classrooms, second and third grades, were no longer exposed. Teachers had ushered their students back inside and locked down. Silence, doors secured, protocol engaged. But Hale wasn't finished. She approached the two third-grade classrooms, their doors side by side. Without hesitation, she raised her AR pistol and emptied the rest of her magazine through the first door. Glass shattered, bullets ripping through the room and out the windows facing the north side of the building. Inside, a student was slightly injured by flying debris. Hale didn't try to enter. She reloaded again, then turned and continued down the second-floor hallway, hunting for more targets. By now, the second floor was in lockdown. Every classroom had barricaded, doors shut, lights off, silence, fear. From the other wing, the church office spaces, staff members who'd seen and heard the chaos took cover, hiding beneath desks, in closets, inside storage cabinets. Several began calling 911. The full horror was underway. Down another corridor, unaware of what had just unfolded, Dr. Catherine Kuntz, the school's executive principal, had been investigating the fire alarm. She'd reached out to maintenance, gotten no clear answer, and made the decision to leave the office to inspect things herself. She stepped into the hallway, moving toward the church office wing. Then, Dr. Kuntz confronted Hale, challenged her. But Hale didn't hesitate. She opened fire with the AR pistol. Dr. Kuntz fell. Then Hale approached and fired again, this time with her sidearm. Bullets meant for Kuntz passed her body and tore through the hallway, slamming into the fire doors of the school office. On the other side, staff members froze. They had just received their answer. The fire alarm wasn't a drill. It was death. After shooting Dr. Kuntz, Hale continued her methodical path through the second floor. For several minutes, her exact route was a mystery. Surveillance cameras didn't cover that section, but statements from survivors confirmed. Hale searched rooms, not all, not the locked ones, but the open and empty. She didn't fire. She didn't find anyone. Eventually, she circled back to the church office area. There, she moved room to room, a fast, superficial sweep. She never noticed the people hiding, staff curled under furniture, crammed in supply closets. No shots fired, no doors breached. Each room search lasted under a minute. Hale then made her final move on the second floor. She walked to a stairwell and descended, landing on the first floor, at the northwest entrance of the building. By this point, the entire campus was under siege protocol. Everyone still inside was hiding, locked in, sheltering. Hale continued through the lounge by the cafeteria, passed through the student lobby area. But by now, the halls had emptied. There was no one left to find. Upon reaching the end of the hallway leading out of the second-floor classroom wing, Hale entered the student lounge, an area just outside the main sanctuary lobby. Mounted on the wall were two television sets. Without pausing, Hale raised her carbine and fired multiple rounds at the screens. Across from her, a set of double doors marked the hallway leading toward the pre-kindergarten and kindergarten classrooms. Hale turned her attention there and fired several shots through the doors using her AR pistol. No one was in that hallway at the time. No injuries were reported from the rounds. A stairwell nearby led Hale back up to the second floor, this time into the upper level of the main sanctuary lobby. From there, she walked into the sanctuary itself, an elevated section, completely empty. Inside, she turned her carbine on a large stained glass window high above the sanctuary floor. The window, which depicted Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, took multiple rounds and sustained damage, but wasn't completely destroyed. After a brief moment in the sanctuary, Hale exited and returned to the upper-level lobby. By this point, calls to 911 had been placed by staff sheltering within the school. Police and emergency units had been dispatched. The first officers arrived at the Covenant around 10:19 a.m., while Hale was still searching through rooms in the church office wing upstairs. Many of the responding officers were unfamiliar with the building layout. Some hadn't known the school existed prior to that day. Units arrived from multiple precincts and divisions. A few parked near the main church entrance on the east side. One officer entered a west side entrance at 10:20 a.m. But the school's interior was complex, and the officer couldn't hear any gunfire at his location. He moved through the building, eventually linking up with others at a south entrance, where they tried to gain coordinated access. Back inside, Hale had moved again, this time toward a large window overlooking the south parking lot. From that second-floor vantage point, she saw police arriving, exiting their vehicles. She raised her AR pistol and fired on the officers through the window. As officers moved in, they spotted Hale, still armed. Her weapons were visible, her arms still in motion. It was a critical moment. There was no certainty she was surrendering. One of the officers raised his 9mm service pistol. He fired. The shot struck Hale. She dropped to the ground, fatally wounded. What followed marked the final seconds of an encounter that had already taken far too much. The following footage captures that confrontation, the moment officers came face to face with Audrey Hale. Take a look.
Just got an update. It's going to be first floor, main lobby. What?
I'm making entry on the front side. I got a civilian that's in here.
Kids are all locked down, but we have 2 kids that we don't know where they are.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Into my window, they're upstairs.
Hey. Give me 3. Let's get 3.
All the way down this hall, listen, it's Fellowship Hall. The end of this hall is Fellowship Hall. They just said they heard gunshots down there, and then upstairs are a bunch of kids.
Let's go. I need 3.
One more!
Let's go. Metro Police!
Open door! On me! We don't know where he is! Metro Police! Open door! Bathroom, small bathroom. Clear.
Next. Let's go. Door. With me.
Hold the door!
Next.
Check this.
Open it. I got it.
Bathroom.
Let's go.
Come out. Door right now. Let's go!
Just move right. Cover left. Take this with me. Take this. No, that's locked. Take this door. Take this door. Take it. I think it's upstairs. It sounds like it's upstairs.
Go! Push the LPV up. Reloading. Clear. Move. Watch out. Stop moving! Get your hand away from the gun! Watch left. Get your hand away from the gun! Secondaries provide security! Hey, hold the air.
Go.
There you go, second floor.
I don't have a radio closet. Give me up.
No, locked door. Where did they go in? First floor. Hold there, y'all. Somebody hold there. Hit that door. Rifle first. Blue, go. Go.
Move. Move. I'm with you. Go left. Straight, straight.
Right here.
It's locked. Go. Hit that stair. Hit the stairs. Go. Go stairs. Go stairs. Go.
Go. I got it.
Go.
One down.
Keep pushing. Go. Shots fired. Move. Right. Push with LPVO. Go right. Move. Watch out. Move. Stop moving. Watch left. Suspect down.
Secondaries provide security.
Hey, hold the air.
With Hale down, the responding officers quickly shifted their focus. Their first priority, search the building for any additional attackers. But there were none. Once they confirmed the threat had been neutralized, officers began escorting students, teachers, and staff out of the school, many still sheltering, unaware the ordeal had ended. As officers moved through the building, they located the victims one by one. Dieckhaus, Kinney, and Scruggs were carried outside and rushed to waiting ambulances. All three were pronounced dead shortly after arrival at Vanderbilt Children's Medical Center. Hill and Peak were found alive, but barely. Their conditions were critical. Paramedics moved fast, transporting both to Vanderbilt University Medical Center. Despite every effort, neither survived. Dr. Catherine Kuntz was found already deceased. Detectives from the Surveillance and Investigative Support Unit arrived soon after. Reviewing the school's video surveillance footage, they confirmed what they suspected. Audrey Hale had acted alone. Outside, investigators located Hale's vehicle in the West Side parking lot. The Hazardous Devices Unit swept the vehicle and ruled out any explosive threats. A search warrant followed. Inside the vehicle, Hale's wallet in the glove box, confirming her identity. Her phone was found in a dashboard compartment. Her car keys were on the driver's seat. A backpack on the front floorboard contained 2 notebooks and 2 thumb drives. On the front passenger seat, 5 fully loaded 5.56 millimeter magazines and several stuffed animals. With Hale's identity confirmed, detectives moved quickly to locate her residence. Hale's father exited the home and left by vehicle. Officers conducted a stop nearby. During the conversation, without being told, he admitted he had heard about the Covenant attack and suspected his daughter might be involved. Acting under a search warrant, MMPD SWAT entered and secured the residence. Then, detectives searched Hale's room. In the closet, a short-barrel 12-gauge shotgun and boxes of ammunition. They also found a white T-shirt, hand-printed with a logo resembling the one worn during the attack. The rest of the room told more of the story. Sketchbooks, notebooks, loose pages of writing, artwork, sales receipts, to-do lists, 5 cell phones, 2 laptops, VHS tapes, thumb drives, evidence scattered across the space Hale had called her own. Who was Audrey Hale? Audrey Hale was born on March 25, 1995. A lifelong resident of Nashville, she was still living with her parents at the time of her death. She'd once walked the halls of the Covenant, attending the school between 2001 and 2005. From there, she moved on to Cresswell Middle Magnet School for the Arts and later graduated from Nashville School of the Arts in 2014. She eventually earned a bachelor's degree in graphic design from Nasi College of Art in 2022. Her professional life was unremarkable, marked by low-skill, low-paying jobs. She worked as a pet sitter, did delivery gigs for online grocery services, never found a stable footing. She had no criminal history, no violent record. The only known interaction with law enforcement came just days before the shooting, when she was questioned as a witness in an accidental discharge incident at a shooting range in Gallatin, Tennessee. At the time of her death, Hale was unmarried. Her family and the few friends detectives were able to identify described her as shy, quiet, and withdrawn. She openly identified as a lesbian, though she wasn't in a relationship. In the years leading up to the attack, Hale expressed a desire to transition. She began referring to herself as Aiden Williams and used male pronouns on social media. But there was no medical evidence of a transition. The autopsy confirmed she was biologically female at the time of death. What investigators eventually determined was that Hale's motive wasn't revenge, ideology, or even desperation. It was notoriety. She often considered suicide. But as she wrote in her own words, if that's all she wanted, she would have just done it. Her writings, journals, and videos made that point clear. She didn't just want to die, she wanted to be remembered. She idolized the Columbine killers, Harris and Klebold, and frequently referred to them as gods. She wanted to join them in the cultural mythology of mass violence. She wanted her guns, her drawings, her manifestos to be displayed in glass cases. She imagined people walking through those exhibits trying to understand her, talking about her, debating her mental health, even glorifying it. But her goals went further. She set a target, at least 10 victims. She believed anything less would make her a failure. Thanks to the fast response of the faculty and staff at the Covenant, and ultimately the officers who confronted her, she didn't reach that number. But she achieved what she wanted most: infamy. Through her meticulous documentation, Hale left behind a clearer picture than almost any other mass shooter before her. Her writings, artwork, and digital archives formed a self portrait of loneliness, obsession, and a desperate need to be seen. The notebooks, 16 in total, standard composition books, college ruled, ordinary on the surface, but inside they revealed something far more intricate, far more disturbing. Each notebook was packed, crammed with handwritten entries, photographs taped to the covers, and in some cases, elaborate charts, diagrams, and hand drawn illustrations. Not a single page was spared. Most pages, both sides, were filled with content. In total, 1,299 pages. The covers were a collage of personality, pictures glued or taped down, ribbons and buttons fixed to the front, scattered with stickers and marker drawings. Most bore the name Hale, along with a date range that marked the timeline of the entries within. Tucked inside some covers were loose documents, sales receipts, artwork, personal scraps of a life. Ephemeral things most people would throw away. Hale kept them, but it was all her. Every page, every stroke. The handwriting was unmistakably hers from beginning to end. Chronology, though, that was another story. The dates on the front covers matched the general period of each notebook, but inside, chaos. Entries skipped pages, returned later, overlaps between notebooks. Some first entries bled into the last entries of the previous book. Nothing was quite in order. In two notebooks, loose pages were found inserted in the back, entries that didn't match the time window listed on the front, torn from other notebooks, ones no longer present. None of the seized notebooks were missing pages. Those loose entries likely came from journals that no longer existed, ones she chose to destroy or to hide. But for some reason, she kept those pages. And then there was one more, not like the others, a spiral bound notebook, each page the size of an index card. It was a logbook, a directory, a listing of usernames and passwords, accounts, devices, digital footprints of a life Hale left behind. 6 of the books were anything but plain, the covers personalized, meticulous, disturbed. Photographs, yarn, ribbons, even buttons, glued or taped, handwriting carved into the cover, sometimes listing dates of what was trapped inside. The 7th, unadorned, quiet, but not blank. Just one note, a single post-it, naming a time, Hale's freshman year in high school. Inside, it got deeper. 6 of the books were completely filled, front to back, every page used. One of them was only half finished, but together, 520 pages of drawings, sketches, comics. These weren't just idle doodles. Some sketches came with phrases, fragments of poetry, lines that hinted at deeper thoughts, darker themes. Others morphed into comics, panels with characters talking to each other, dialogues imagined in silence. 2 laptops, Both seized from Hale's bedroom. Each one told a different story. The first, resting on top of her desk, still tethered to a power cable. Stickers lined the back of the display, each a symbol of identity, a mask, or maybe a message. This wasn't just any laptop. It was active. It was current. It was the device she used at the time of her death, tucked away in the shadows of the bedroom closet, forgotten or maybe hidden. Together, the two machines held approximately 168 gigabytes of data, a digital footprint, a cell phone, seized from inside Hale's vehicle, powered on, still active, still connected to the world she was leaving behind. An analysis confirmed it. This was her primary device, the one she used at the time of her death. Back at the residence, 5 more cell phones, artifacts of a digital past, old, discarded, but not forgotten. Only one of those could be read. The other 4, too old, incompatible with the tools investigators had, and their batteries completely dead, beyond revival, beyond access. There was one more device, a relic from a different digital age, an Apple iPod, found in her bedroom, still in use, up until her final day. Altogether, the phones and the iPod gave up 37.6 gigabytes of data. 9 thumb drives, small, ordinary, but inside layers of a life, frozen in time. 2 of them, irrelevant, unconnected. They didn't belong to Hale and held nothing tied to the covenant. 2 more, they started as her father's. Later, taken over by Hale, filled with content she either made or downloaded. Then there were the final 4. These were hers, entirely, exclusively. 4 devices used to hold a digital record of the self. The evidence spoke. Across notebooks, sketches, devices, and data trails, a fragmented portrait began to emerge. Detectives pored over the content, artwork, digital devices, online accounts, handwritten journals, and more. Then they compared it all against interviews, surveillance footage, external sources, and over time, they pieced together a timeline, a roadmap of planning, preparation, premeditation. Through this mosaic of information, investigators established motive. Why those victims? Theories swirled: religion, race, revenge. Hale didn't know the victims, not personally, not socially, no history, no vendetta. She had a different formula: 2 variables, age and attention. She believed the murder of children would amplify her infamy. She believed a school, especially one tied to wealth, would raise her profile. It was about impact, optics, not individuals. Anyone in her path was a target. No faces, just numbers in her head. Why that date? The date wasn't random, but it wasn't some tribute either. She studied the Covenant school calendar, crossed out summer, scratched off holidays. She wanted students present. Then she went deeper, built formulas, twisted calculations using basketball jersey numbers, her birthday, Columbine, even the number of close friends she had. Only she understood the math. From that, she drew a short list, dates when she believed the stars would align. The Covenant got the main slot. Other targets, backup options, emergency locations if her plans were interrupted, because the goal was clear: a headline, a body count, an end that guaranteed attention. Following a thorough review of all evidence, information, and materials collected during the investigation, authorities found no indication that anyone other than Audrey Hale was involved in the planning, preparation, or execution of the murders at the Covenant. There was no evidence suggesting any individual aided Hale after the fact. No attempt to conceal, destroy, or manipulate materials in a way that would hinder or obstruct the investigation. After consultation with attorneys from the Davidson County District Attorney General's office, it was confirmed that no current information or evidence exists to indicate that any living person holds criminal responsibility for the murders. As a result, the case is being cleared by exception because the only chargeable offender is deceased.